Have you ever fallen asleep typing?
Typing like an email or something? No, I don't think so.
I just did that.
You did?
That thing where you're like,
oh, you doze off.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So have you done that?
No, I don't
Typing?
think I have. No.
Well, it was the first for me. But it's fine.
Are you concerned, worried, or just accepting of it?
You know what, Nikki? We're just pushing through.
I'll fall asleep like I'll be watching a movie or listening to music, and then you wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and things are still going. You're like, wait a minute, your phone's not been charging and you just fell asleep when you weren't ready to.
I did that on Friday night.
Did you?
I think, yeah, where I was just like, I was laying on the couch and I was like, I think I'm falling asleep. I don't care.
Just going to fall asleep. We'll see
Whatever.
what happens.
Yeah, and wake up. Netflix has spun through like 10 more shows.
Aw, well, we were out yesterday, so no podcast yesterday, which is why this week will be a lot of, getting back to the swing of things.
Yes.
And Obi's back in the studio, so, just a good week.
Yeah, so stuff we talk about today, we get into WandaVision, COVID and ice cream, COVID tests, Woot shirts.
And ice cream? No, just easy.
And ice cream. What's happening with Godzilla? What's going on TikTok? The inauguration, which is tomorrow. Playing a game called Pistol Whip, and the Olympics. So there's more in there.
That's what you get today.
Yep. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's podcast.
Thanks for listening. As always, don't forget to text and say hello as a podcast listener. We love to include you. 877 to RadioU. Just text us. And even if it's not a normal studio time, other DJs will send it to us. So we'll see it and we'll have a chance to talk to you when we're back in.
All right. You guys take care.
Bye.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
I realize there's just no way, I don't think, for me to communicate to you what a weird place I'm in right now.
How weird it feels in here.
Yeah, because we, the RIOT, the RadioU, like we got some new studio furniture. We haven't had new studio furniture in 18 years.
I think it's been a while
time
since we moved a building, but we haven't done anything just like new while we were in the same place.
No. And so, I mean, it's the equivalent of like we're practically using your grandparents' pull out for our bed and have forever. And so it is, guys, it's so weird in here. It's so weird.
And it's so clean. It's just so nice. But it does take some getting used to because it's so much more spacious than it used to be because technology over time,
it's so much smaller. In fact, I'll just tell you right now, it feels like we went from having something really nice to junk.
Because it's smaller.
Because it's small.
But that's not the case. It's just
not.
That's just how, like our big board, we used to have this giant one.
Enormous.
And now it's so much smaller, but, you get used to it really quickly.
Well, don't sneeze. You'll blow it away.
It's not even mounted down.
It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there. You could just move it if you wanted to.
It's so weird.
But it's wonderful. And thanks again to Chris for working so hard at just making a nicer studio space for us, putting in all that effort.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah, just kick your feet out. We got all this leg space. We didn't even know what to do.
What am I doing? I like to kick that.
Oh, you like to kick the board we used to have underneath? Oh, you don't get that anymore.
I have to find something else to kick. Oh, man, guys, it's weird, but it's awesome. So awesome. So, again, I realize for you, nothing's changed. For Nikki and I, so much has changed.
It's so nice and comfortable in here.
So much has changed.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
So for those of you wondering, yes, I'm back in the studio.
What a big day.
Wow. Wow.
So Obi was out last week, and then we weren't in yesterday. We were off for the day, so it's your first day back in.
So just so you know everything about me, I got to have another COVID test and a flu test.
Oh, you did?
Yes. They both came back negative.
Yeah.
That didn't stop me from having all the symptoms of COVID last week, which is great. And so it basically comes down to I love this. I mean, keep in mind, we're watching medical science at work in real time. So they don't know if I'm contagious. Like if I have, not now, like not having COVID, the test coming back negative, me not having a fever. They're like, hey, you're fine. When I have a fever, they're like, They're
just not sure. So they say that, if you had COVID, you might develop your symptoms again just randomly.
Yes.
Down the road for no rhyme or reason. And for you, you just really got hit hard by your symptoms during COVID and they just pop back up.
Yeah, it's weird. So like last Sunday, as in a week ago, I came home, took a nap, woke up, and I was like, oh, I don't feel good. And that was that. So I got another week of that, basically. I mean, it wasn't as bad. Like, I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad. And then Friday we did the show, took my temp before and after the show, didn't have a fever. And so
Clear since then?
Clear since then.
That's good.
The good news is, though, I had called to get that test. So even though I was fever-free on Friday, I still had that thing jammed up my nose again.
Still had to get the COVID test and the flu one. I'm surprised they didn't do, a lot of people have strep now. I'm surprised they didn't do even that.
I'll have to say, like, my sinuses are so swollen. I don't know. I think at the doctor, they're just like, please stop calling.
Oh, it's you again.
It's like, please stop. Like, we can't help you. Just don't call.
But I told him, like, you need to make sure they try to do something because their response is just like, oh, just stay home. And you're like, well, isn't there anything else one can do?
I'm telling you, and this is not, I'm not really complaining here. It's just the reality of it is that, if you're not dying, which I'm not, they have more important things to do right now. And again, not even being mean about it. I'm just saying they're like, just stay home. Like, but what about Nikki? Well,
we can make it work. But more, it's just you never know when they can pop back up again, which must be frustrating.
Yes, I am now. Like, I've been taking my temperature, when we come in the door every morning. But now I just have a
morning,
thermometer.
evening.
Yeah, no, I have a thermometer in the bathroom there. And so, like, in the morning, take my temp. In the evening, take my temp. And I don't know. If there's some other way to do it, I don't know what it is.
Well, until then, just take it easy.
Yeah. So, hey, say hey to us, 877-2-RADIO-U. Nikki and I are just, we're just hanging because that's what we do.
Listening to the worst of the riot is the equivalent of standing in line at the BMV. Ugh. Worst of the riot. Radio U.
Hey, so we were talking about my COVID earlier. Oh my gosh. What if I got it from ice cream?
Oh, no. Is that a possibility? Because that was a lot of people's comfort food. So
you ready?
Yeah.
How do you feel right now?
Well, I feel fine.
How much ice cream did you have over the weekend?
None.
See, that's probably why you're okay.
Yesterday was tempting. There was talk, but it didn't happen.
4,800 boxes of ice cream had to be recalled in China. As the ice cream was found to be contaminated with COVID.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
You must explain. You can't just throw this out there and then
I don't know.
Expect us all to be like, okay, well, no ice cream then. I need more details.
So here's what we have. There was in Tianjin, which is a municipality. It's a city. Is that good enough in China? So I don't understand how they figured it out, but they managed to isolate these boxes and they're like, hey, we think these boxes are contaminated with COVID. Somebody at the factory had it.
Oh.
So 1,662 employees have to quarantine and they're trying to track down everybody who bought this ice cream.
So is it the packaging for it or is it possible that the stuff's like inside the ice cream?
This sure makes it sound like it's inside the ice cream.
It's coming from inside the ice cream?
It's coming from inside the ice cream.
No, and did they have to destroy the ice cream then? I'm sure they did.
So let's see, this ice cream used milk powder from the Ukraine and whey from New Zealand. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else about it. Like the ice cream tested positive. Aww. And they say that it probably happened from human contact.
Well, better to be safe and just destroy it all.
They say, don't be afraid. This is just a one-off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, it sounds... I know
that stuff just like it was so much time for the touching boxes and things if someone had it or... I mean, here, how is it because it was frozen? Like it was preserved or something?
Maybe. Some viruses can lay dormant.
In the ice.
And the ice.
And the ice.
What if I told you about Antarctica, guys?
It's full of stuff there.
Stop taking core samples. It's frozen on purpose.
I would like us to just mark this also to learn more later if they unveil more details about it, but that's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
I like ice cream. Don't we all?
I know.
We all really like ice cream, and we didn't need this to happen.
The last thing I need to find out is like, oh, you've been doing great. You've been avoiding people. There's all these things you've been getting right. Oh, gosh, you had ice cream?
You had to have ice cream, didn't you?
You just couldn't let it go.
But, I mean, we're all so upset sometimes. And what do you do when you're upset? You get ice cream.
But what else is there?
Like, what else are we supposed to do? You're going to say it's in coffee next? I don't know what else to do.
Okay, that's not funny.
I was just trying to hit you with the hardest one.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So Friday night, with no spoilers and, knowing essentially nothing, I sat down for WandaVision. Did you watch WandaVision this weekend, Nikki?
I did not, but did I see that there were 2 episodes?
2 episodes.
So it was more than I think we expected.
They were about a half an hour each.
Oh, shorter than I expected.
Yes. You know what? I really liked it. Not in that I would want to see this continue.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can tell, obviously, things are changing. Obviously, they're going to do something else. There's more to it than that. I think it's kind of interesting. I talked to a lot of people that hated it.
Since it was so short, did it feel like, web extras or like shortened stuff, or did it feel like a show?
I'll say this, that if it had been any longer, I would have found it kind of intolerable.
Oh.
Because what they're doing is, I don't know the story. I haven't dug into it, but basically, Wanda and Vision are stuck in some kind of multiverse, something. And the first 2 episodes of it are basically them doing, if you're familiar with I Dream of Jeannie or Bewitched or even a little bit of I Love Lucy, that classic black and white sitcom is essentially what these episodes are. And they're just every once in a while some kind of nudging you like something's not right, this isn't right. They're understanding something's not right.
Yeah.
But otherwise they're just playing these roles in this sitcom. And I don't know, whatever.
Well, first off, Disney Plus says thank you for the whatever.
Well, you know what? Like I just thought it was interesting. Adam says, I loved it. I found myself smiling the whole entire time because it was funny and overdramatic and interesting. Ashley says, hated WandaVision in the beginning, kind of intrigued and will watch more.
So how many episodes are there? Is it 8 or 10 or?
I assume that we'll get that 10 to 12 episode kind of thing. And I don't know, we'll see. But at half an hour each, not so long.
It's not so much to where you have to hate that you're investing that time in there because it's something new. But yeah, I didn't see a lot of people who were raving about it over the weekend. But
I feel like it's one of those things you're just going to have to give it time. Like you can tell right away they're going for something, and I couldn't tell you if they have yet achieved it. Maybe.
So each week, will it be 2 episodes or just one starting from this point?
I think it'll just be one.
One after that.
The other thing, and I don't know that this is true, but I think the idea is they're supposed to like switch genres each week. So like they're stuck in TV and they're going to be stuck in a different kind of show each week. I don't know if that's true. We'll find out. Maybe that was just some theory. After a while, it all starts to blend together.
Well, if you liked WandaVision, then Obi kind of liked it, I guess.
I think I did.
The word we're seeing a lot is intrigued.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see as we get more into it.
Yeah, I'm really so curious to see like where it's going to go and what's it going to end up being. But Ashley says you have to understand so much of the Marvel universe to get it. I mean, the only thing that I got the sword reference. I got that. Nikki's sword is like S.H.I.E.L.D., but like S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of like the FBI. It takes care of things on Earth.
Yeah.
Whereas S.H.I.E.L.D. is more like the CIA. Sword is like the CIA. It handles matters abroad in the universe.
I see.
Yeah. So that's the short version. And I really enjoyed you going, sword.
They got you with that?
Thanks, Nikki.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
But Nikki, there are several brands that, like you and I, can't seem to get excited about the Super Bowl.
Oh, are they having? I'm sure there's plenty of people who want to pay all the money to have a Super Bowl commercial, but maybe it's not the same companies, or the tone just feels like, is it going to be different? How is it going with it?
Pepsi already announced this, but Coke has followed. They will not be airing commercials.
Anything?
Nothing.
I thought the Super Bowl was always brought to you by like one of them.
Yeah. And that could still be a thing. Like they may still be a naming sponsor somewhere.
But not a commercial.
But they said that they will not be running. They said it was a difficult choice. And here's a quote. They want to ensure we are investing in the right resources during these unprecedented times.
Well, I think with some companies, they have to be aware cancel culture could be real on if the tone of your Super Bowl commercial doesn't fit or strike right. People get mad where it's like, well, we're not supposed to be traveling. Why is your commercial like, or why aren't they showing face masks in this? Or why is this too happy of like a commercial? There's a real thing of balancing a correct tone for such big commercials that are millions and millions of dollars. So it'd be interesting to get it wrong.
It's not, in some ways, it's not even worth it. Meaning like, it's not worth. They get more publicity out of just saying they're not going to have one than if they got one and you were like, why is Kylie Jenner offering that police officer a Pepsi? Like, how tone deaf can this commercial be?
Sure.
Man, in this day and age, everything's tone deaf. They're like, we just showed you footage of a Pepsi, and they're like, I can't believe
that's exactly what
that you would show us a Pepsi.
I think a lot of people would be afraid of with what sort of tone should the commercial have. So Pepsi and Coke have said no commercials. Anybody else?
Right. No, well, so far I see only them. I suppose that maybe some other companies will make a similar call, but those are the ones. They want, they say about $5.5 million for a Super Bowl TV advertising package. Now, we don't know what that means as far as like a breakdown for individual commercials, but
you get a banner in the stadium.
Something.
You get something
like that. I wouldn't be surprised, right? And you're paying a fortune for almost nothing.
I know. That's true.
I don't. But then again, people love the football.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens as we get closer to the Super Bowl, if anybody's as interested.
Are you ready for some football?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm ready for some Coke.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
There are among us many people that will make accusations at me in regards to purchasing habits. But Nikki, I want you to know that I bought and watched Spartacus.
You did?
Yes, I did.
So Obi likes to buy old movies that are restored in 4K, and everybody was raving. By everybody, we mean the
2 people.
The 4K restoration crowd.
Yes.
On Reddit, were raving about Spartacus being an old movie that was restored in a really amazing way.
Yeah.
And so you bought it and you watched it. Good.
Totally worth it. $10. The other thing I bought, this was on a whim, Friday night, I bought Night of the Comet.
What is that?
That's 1986, I think it was. It might be 85, I don't know, but like it's a story about the comet, whatever comet comes back. And what we didn't know is that it's what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, but it causes the extinction of man, except for a few people that live.
1984.
Wow. It is not a good movie, but I enjoyed it.
I guess that's all that matters.
Good. Yeah.
It has pretty poor ratings, but
whatever. It had like a 79 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
I guess it's pretty good.
I mean, I watched Transformers. That's got like a 2.
Yeah, but that's a big 2. It's a big budget 2.
I don't know.
It's different than like a movie from the 80s.
I know. I hear you. But you know what? It was so weird.
Good.
It was such a weird movie. So enjoyed it.
Well, it's just nice if you pick something and you enjoy watching it.
Yeah. And the other thing I saw, I was with some friends and I was like, hey, I just got Night of the Comet. And they were like,
yeah, and what is that?
They were like, what if we watched a regular movie? Like a normal one. And I was like, yeah.
I hate using the term normal one, but that is true. Like you feel like a more current one, or not even current. If you want to watch an old movie, just one that was more popular, more high profile.
Yeah. So we ended up watching Ava on Netflix.
The
Jessica Chastain, and she's this like CIA spy thing, and like she's an assassin basically. That movie is about a woman that goes back to her hometown to reconnect with her mom and her sister. She runs into an old boyfriend and is trying to make some things right with her mom who's in the hospital. Their dad died. What else does that sound like, Nikki?
Every other movie?
Every other Hallmark movie ever.
But this one...
There's a lot of long scenes of dialogue and all this stuff.
There's just guns in this one.
There just happens to be guns in this one. I was like halfway through it, I was like, this is just a Hallmark movie.
You're not supposed to first off notice that. And second, that's not your best example of like, oh, this is why newer movies are way better.
I know. I just want to point out that saying something like, Obadiah watches dumb old movies, and I'm like, hey, here's a new one on Netflix that you guys picked out. It's a winner.
There's plenty of newer dumb movies, too. There's so many to choose from.
So, like all I'm saying is that before somebody gets on their high horse, just remember they all suck. All of them.
They're all bad movies.
They're all bad.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
877-2-RADIO-U. Remember that you can text us anytime you like. We love to hear from you, especially stuff like this.
Well, when you have big news like this, you got to tell us.
So we just heard from Leah. She texted and says, good morning. I'm a podcast listener. I just wanted to let you know I'm active duty Air Force and have been selected to transfer to Space Force.
For real? Hey, we're going to know someone in Space Force.
Amazing. I think we already do. I think we had somebody else that was also in space. I think so.
We'll know another person in Space Force.
Now,
yeah, we got two now.
She says, when we meet the aliens, I'll make sure they listen to this podcast. They will name their children after the great Nikki Nobi.
Well, Leah, first off, thanks for being so supportive of our podcast and our show.
Yes, absolutely.
And thanks for bringing us to Space Force, too. I don't think we can help with Space Force, like, out there, but we could still be a voice for it.
I don't know if this show is what I want the aliens to encounter as like, hey.
Why? It'll throw them for a loop. They're like, what's this? This is funny and lighthearted and kind and not the same thing you hear at every other show.
The humans are honest. We appreciate their honesty.
We really like them. And then they'll be like, wait, not everybody else is like this.
Even on our planet, we find it difficult to rise with the star in the morning.
They'd be like, at all of our radio stations, we still just hear about, the Kardashians and politics and stuff. And, you don't have to have that all the time here.
Yeah. So you're welcome, people of the earth.
Well, congratulations, Leah. That's awesome.
Is it? I can't tell. I don't think there's a lot of emotional tone here. I don't know if she's excited about going to Space Force or not.
Is that just moving to the side or is that up?
Is that a lateral move?
Is there a pay raise? Like, I'm just not sure how that is, but it'd be fun, I guess, if you were into that, to go to Space Force.
My thought would be that with a new branch like that, there's probably some room for advancement that doesn't exist in some of the other branches. Now, I don't know that.
We don't know.
Don't know. I'm just speculating. So.
Well, very fun.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to her. Carl says, yeah, that was me. The other one was me.
Oh, is he in Space Force?
Yeah, but you know what, Carl? I couldn't remember if you were serious or not.
That was real.
That's an honest reaction. I don't know if he was telling me the truth or not, but Carl says he is. But I thought he was just talking about playing EVE Online.
Well, we're very excited. Anytime you guys get fun things that are new, and that includes any job promotions,
feel free to pass it along.
Yeah, just let us know anytime you get a promotion like that. But that sounds fun.
Cool. Well, enjoy Space Force. Nikki and I'll just be here, doing this.
Well, we are
Ground Force. Radio Force?
I like that.
Talking Force?
No, I like Radio Force.
Okay. All right. We'll take it. Radio Force.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Remember, you can text anytime, which is exactly what Andy did. He sent us a shirt from shirt.woot.com. We said we were going to buy shirts. Did you buy any shirts?
No, why? Why would we do that? Why would we buy new clothes?
My shirts are getting kind of
minor,
raggedy, man.
Oh, they're bad. They're so bad. And I don't know why something else comes up and you're like, oh, do I want to put all my shirt money over into shirts or do I want to pay for something over there?
I don't know. Like, I need some new tires. I need a few things. But I think I have enough money to buy some shirts. I feel like what holds me back is it's such a crapshoot.
Is it trash? Our earlier conversation. It's just
easy.
Trash.
It is. It's easy to order a shirt online and get trash. And so my last run of shirts came from T-Fury. Some of them have held up really well. Some of them are just not even worth using as rags. They're just worthless.
It is a roll of the dice when it comes to online T-shirt buying. And guys, remember, I know when you hear our show, you think, wow, they must have a dress code or something professional dress wear.
Yeah.
We do not. And our T-shirts, that's just what we wear day to day.
That's our workwear.
That's our workwear. And when we buy, I just don't go to the store. I'm sure I could go to Old Navy and get whatever graphic tee.
No,
but
I went in there. I tried. I went to Old Navy and Kohl's and a couple of other places. And again, maybe you and I are just asking too much out of our T-shirts. But I just look at it and I'm like, this shirt's got 2 wears in it, tops.
You think so?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's like this shirt is not... It's
not going to do it.
It's not going to make it.
But it used to be where back in the day, you paid the extra $1 or $2 for online T-shirt buying and you got the premium one. Now the premium one's just junk too.
Sometimes I think the premium one's worse.
Yeah, just because it's softer and it breaks up more.
Yeah, I've paid extra for that premium and I'm like, no way. Like, give me the one that'll last. This thing's, again, it might have 3 washes in it.
I don't know.
And then it's gone.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the Woot stuff, usually the shirts that make it to Woot, the graphic design is a bit bold for my everyday wear.
Sure.
But maybe there's some other options.
I've gotten my Woot. Okay. My Woot experience is the worst of all the shirt buying experiences because the amount of inconsistency is just crazy.
Well, sometimes they're really rough shirts too. They're really thick.
Yeah.
And they're just very uncomfortable.
I bought some an extra large there and I've got it where it's an extra large, but it's actually a tent. And then I'm like, it's an extra large. And they're like, it's a thimble. And you
can't find the perfect in between, can you?
I mean, I guess that's Woot. I mean, it's just the leftover stuff.
No, you
right?
know what? That's not just Woot. That's online bargain shopping. So that's what we do when it comes to what do we wear during the day. We're willing to just buy the sale of the day item.
And then if you find a T-shirt that you really like, I just keep wearing it. My dentist gave me a shirt when I started going there. It's ridiculously comfortable. So I keep finding myself wearing my dentist shirt.
Look up the tag and see what type of shirt it is. You can just buy.
You know what? That's a good idea.
You can just buy
a bunch of those.
Yeah, not just different colors or if someone else sells any graphics on them.
And then you and I'll just get up a marker and we could just write some stuff on it.
Yeah.
Some clever sayings.
Oh, we could do an art thing. If not, we could just wear plain tees.
Okay. Can we do that?
Oh, we can, yeah. It's hoodie season anyways. It doesn't matter.
Actually, that's true.
Just put your hoodie on or your zip up and you're fine. No one knows what graphic tee you're wearing underneath.
That's what I'm wearing right now.
Your dentist shirt?
No.
Oh, just your zip up?
Just a shirt with a zip up and it's whatever.
Again, don't ever listen to the show and think that we care about what we're wearing.
It's not.
It's not. We have other things to focus on.
It's all you guys care about is being comfortable.
I don't even know if we care about that.
Kinda.
I don't know.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Think you might have COVID, but you're embarrassed about calling your doctor again for the 400th time?
That's Obi. I feel bad for you every time you have to.
Call them and they're like, look, you don't have COVID. I'm like, then why do I have all the symptoms?
You
Again.
had it. I mean, that one time you were absolutely right.
Yeah, that one time they were like, you don't have it. And they're like, what? You do.
Oh, well.
Well.
So for this,
Our bad.
So like, if you want a COVID test, you don't need a doctor's, like prescription or a doctor's note. I know sometimes in the beginning that would make it easier to go to a testing site or have more opportunities, but that's not needed anymore.
I think, I haven't gotten bills for it yet. So I think basically my insurance company pays for it if the doctor orders it.
Yeah.
Whereas, otherwise you go get it done and it's $75.
Oh, you're paying for it?
I found a clinic that'll do them for $75. And in this case, this is a vending machine that sells you a COVID test. Who feels great about that? I got my COVID test from a vending machine.
Well, now that actually sounds a lot easier. But are you supposed to be out? Like, where's this thing going to be at?
I get soda from a vending machine. Sometimes I get candy if I'm desperate.
A movie.
But even that, man, like Redbox feels a little shady. I'm still doing it. But a COVID test?
In certain areas, there's way more vending machines for different things than we're probably used to. But this is from Wellness for Humanity. On Sunday, they will be launching in major U.S. cities. So New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, Dallas, and more. A machine that will dispense COVID tests for people to try.
Right. So here's what you'll do. It's a spit test, and basically it comes out in a box. You put the stuff in it, and then that box gets transferred back to their lab via FedEx.
Oh, so you still have to mail this one?
You still have to mail it out. And which, can I just tell you, that's a good thing. It's totally, listen, I spent a lot of COVID time with people. And so I had a friend of mine that was like, oh, I don't know if I've had it. I think I have. I was like, hey, you can go to the pharmacy and they'll give you an antibody test.
Yeah.
That was $25 or $30. And so I wanted to know. So I went, I was like, all right, how's this work? So that's just, they lance your finger. Mm-hmm. This is so great, Nikki. You're going to love this. You put your blood on the thing and then you just wait to see if the lines appear or don't appear, like it's a pregnancy test or something. And so we go back there and they're like, well, I'm pretty sure you can kind of see a line.
They weren't as confident as you wanted them to be with the antibody test.
I had to excuse myself.
Do I have to pay for this test then?
This is where we are? You think you kind of see a line?
Well,
is that what this is? So that's why
it's new. It was newer then.
The thing is, at least when you send it to a lab, at least then when they have that conversation, hey, I think I see it. Do you see it?
You're not a part of it?
You're not there. You can pretend that what they're saying is something you can trust, not, I don't know. If you turn it this way, there's kind of a line there. I can kind of
see a line. You got to take a few more. It is expensive. So the convenience service for this will be up to $150. I could see this being if you're going to travel or if you have to have a COVID test to return a negative one, if you have to have a negative one to return back to classes or for work or something and you don't want to be involved in all the other stuff or take up space for a longer line where it might be more for actual feeling sick people, but you still need to have a negative test. Yeah. But that's $150 and it'll be in vending machines.
I thought that the spit test was the least.
The rapid test is the least.
Okay.
The rapid one is the least likely or the most possible
to be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. But for the saliva one is still. This is not a rapid test.
My last COVID test, it was Lens Crafters. It was less than an hour. They just called me right away. But they still, they jammed the thing all the way. They go straight back.
So later, these machines will be stocked with a different type of home testing kit. That will be one that does not require a lab, and it'll have results in 15 minutes with a 97.4% accuracy rate. Now, the vending machines do not have that now, but that's what they'll be the next step.
Do you think there's a line there? I kind of see a line.
Oh, I thought you meant like to get to the...
No, not that.
Not waiting in line, but you
Here,
mean...
look. All right, turn the light off and get the black light out. Okay, I think there's a line.
Is that how it is with the COVID test? I don't think it's a line thing. Is that just the antibodies test?
That's what the antibody test is like.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
Yeah, HBO Max, right? So I gave it up. I finished up. There was a series I was watching, and I finished it up, and I was just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just chuck it. Just get rid of it. You're not watching it. So I did, and that was Sunday night, and then Monday afternoon or something, they're like, oh, by the way, Godzilla versus Kong, that's going to be hitting HBO Max in March.
Oh, it's earlier now.
Yeah, they've
been pushed up.
It was supposed to be in May. It was going to be in theaters in May.
I don't think they care. I don't think they care about the Godzilla.
Well, that last Godzilla movie didn't do super well for them.
Which is why I think they understand streaming service wise. That's actually a really good movie to get people to sign up for HBO Max.
Right.
Or stay with it.
I think I would go see this in the theater. Honestly, because I would like to see it. That feels theater. Wonder Woman, I was like, yeah, it's Christmas, got a lot going on.
But you say this now, but when you actually got to March, you're not going to.
Well, the problem is that when you tell me, like, laziness is so much stronger than anything else I have in my life. And so if you're like, man, wouldn't you love to see Godzilla? Yeah. You want to go to the movies? Yeah. You can watch it right now at home. Let's do it. All right.
That sounds even better.
Let's do that.
I mean, you've worked so hard to have your at-home theater set up to be so nice that Godzilla seems like it'll be perfect at home.
It does. Seems like it'd be fantastic.
But you don't need to sign back in until March then.
That's exactly right.
You get like a month off.
Yeah. Woo.
Yay.
What a savings.
What's your horn noise? Look at that. Are we saving? I don't remember how much it is. Is it 10, 11, 12, 15, $20?
I had signed up for a thing where they're like, hey, for the first year, it's $12 a month. Then it goes up to being $15 after that. And
what if you cancel, though?
Then you lose your $12.
Oh, you lose your $12.
That's what kept me on. There was a month where it kept me on. I was like, yeah, but you keep the lower rate. But then when you start doing the math, you're saving a whopping, it's actually like $2 a month you're saving. That's $24 for the year. So if you went 2 months without,
it's no big deal.
You've made that money up. I see. This is the kind of garbage I spend my evenings.
This is where we think we're saving money.
Get out the abacus. Let us work through this.
Is that the bead thing?
Yeah.
This bead represents 1 month here. Whoosh. This bead is Netflix here. Whoosh. Someone comes over like, what's your bead thing? You're like, that's all my streaming services.
Then I am counting.
I'm counting every month how much I'm saving or spending.
Oh, my. So it's going to be March 26th. It was supposed to be May 21st. It'll be in theaters and streaming on HBO Max. Hey, I hope it's good. That'd be great. The last Godzilla movie was okay. Mm-hmm. It should have been better, but it was okay. Just needed I felt like a couple of tweaks, but who am I?
But it's been a long time since we've had, Wonder Woman, push that aside, but it's been a long time since we've had a lot of movies to look forward to. A movie out, like competition, like this. So I think our bar is really low.
Well, okay. When I was with friends the other night, and I was like, hey, guys, we can watch Night of the Comet. They were like, can we watch a regular movie, please? Let's see what... This was so naive and hilarious. Let's see what's out that's new. And I was just like, out that's new? What are you talking about? Well, there is nothing.
Remember, Netflix is doing the one new movie every week, like a bigger blockbuster one.
Oh, yeah. A good one. I'm sure they have 52 fantastic movies coming our way this year. I'm sure they're so good.
Didn't you watch the promo video? Did you not see that thing?
I'm sure. Look, this guy has a gun and this girl's kissing this guy. Look, these are good movies.
So, all right.
Something's blowing up. It's a good one.
Now. Where's all that coming from?
Here they are looking at each other lovingly. It's a good one.
That's him being disappointed in the system.
I know. Look, they're in Regency clothing now. It's a good one.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Too honest. It got too real, didn't it?
It feels like it. Yes, it's in a whole other layer. That felt like an onion right there.
Oh, man, don't keep peeling. If you're not crying yet, the tears are coming. Tears are coming.
Anymore. No more layers.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Off air, Nikki and I are talking about the kind of money that I could make with, an OnlyFans account. We don't think it's very much.
No.
But Nikki, look at this. Okay, they say that there's the TikTok trend, and you're my TikTok ambassador about people with using makeup to look like you have baggy eyes and rings under your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that finally made it into the news. How many months old is that trend?
For the that's maybe a month or so old.
Okay. Do you see how on brand we are right there?
Because we look tired.
Like on point? Because like you and I, let's just leave you out of it because you look lovely every morning.
I
no
appreciate
problems.
that, thanks.
But for me, it's just like, wow, how is he doing that? I'd be like, I'm doing this all naturally.
Is that a filter?
Without makeup.
How could you look that way?
I get these huge bags and black circles under my eyes just from my lifestyle. And so, it's like they say abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. These dark circles, they're made in the studio, okay, not in the makeup chair.
Well, I'm looking at the Facebook trend of the eye bags and just making makeup look a little bit more
tired.
Yeah, a little bit more tired. And some of these are very exaggerated, but the trend was really not as much as that. So it's just more to make an enhancement of just making sure the eyes pop. Just really look out there.
Okay, so are we talking about making our eyes pop or trying to look tired?
Both. That was like you just draw attention to your eyes. But some of these that I'm looking at, it just makes you look almost like you got punched. And it's not quite like that. It's more like you just want it to look more human, more real. And we're all tired, so we all look it.
I got up this morning and I'm just going to be nice here. I looked hungover. Like my eyes were all bloodshot.
Is it because you had the day off
puffy.
yesterday? What's up?
The thing is, it's like it'd be one thing if I was abusing substances and I had that look.
Yeah, but you stayed up late?
It's another thing to just be living your life and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, something must be wrong.
I think it's because we're not drinking enough water.
That's what it is.
I think that's where that comes from.
Okay.
Because you wake up and you're like, what happened to me?
I just wake up and I'm like, I can't get my eyes open. Not just because I'm tired, but like, they're all swollen. Why are they all swollen like that? What did we do wrong?
So I think it's funny that the trend, they're like, we don't even have to try.
Morning radio, like, it's awesome. Like, we're so on. You just wouldn't even know it.
Well,
so cool.
This is where we should start taking more pictures and stuff so that then people can see that we're on the trend and we're like, no, we're just really tired.
I want less pictures of me. Like, I want to get ready in the morning and, like, my face is blocked out in the mirror. It's kind of blurry. I got a smart mirror. It doesn't let me see myself.
It doesn't? Well, then how do you get ready in the morning?
Well, can we do like a deep fake? It's going to put somebody else's face on my face. I'm like, man, I like these days, just looking good. That's all I know.
So this, again, the trend was, people painting on under eye bags and dark circles. They say it's just a trend that was kind of maybe started more in joke, but it went from there. And, people have tried it.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I've got it. I'm in. So if you guys want a good look at it, here it is. Come on by.
We didn't have to do anything for it.
Nope.
It's nice when a trend just really works and it's just fine. It just didn't have to do anything. It wasn't anything extra.
Well, but isn't that how it kind of goes? Like, you see a photo of a celebrity and you're like, I want to look like that. And pretty soon everybody's cutting their hair or, they see that picture of Obadiah and they're like, how do you get that exhausted look without being so tired?
I want to look like that.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You know what? It's funny. I was thinking about this over the weekend. It's weird, especially during the winter. Like, I'm just so up and down. Like, some days I'm...
Mood-wise?
Oh, yeah. Like, some days I'm just like, we are having fun. And then other days I'm like, not only is there not fun, but I hate myself and everything. All right? Fun is a lie.
So it's real up and down.
It's real up and down, right? But here's what I love, really, is that real love can handle the ups and the downs. Real love is like that. It can handle up and down. And when I tell you that God loves you, he can handle your ups, he can handle your downs, and he can handle the in-betweens. Seriously, that is how much God loves you. So listen, I understand that you might, like me, I'm hard on myself. I'm just like, I'm down and nobody wants to be around. Just leave me alone. I'm in the basement, turn the lights off, sit in the dark. I get it. But I just want you to know that even on those days when you feel down, that you are still loved. You know, I don't feel like I'm loved. Well, you know what? There's a lot of things I don't feel like today that are true. So just give yourself a little bit of a break. Even if you don't feel loved today, you don't feel whatever, you can say to yourself, I'm loved. I'm loved. Say it to yourself all day. Remind yourself that you are. And if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, look, would you please stop just taking my word for it? Would you find out for yourself? Say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I don't feel loved, but I want to accept your love today. Boom. Like that's a great starting place. And you know what? You can ask God for help for paying rent or just, you know, getting out of that dark spot. Turn that stuff over to God and ask him for some help this morning.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
I would like for you and I to talk about what's happening tomorrow.
What is tomorrow?
It's the inauguration.
Oh, yes.
And you know, the thing is that there's been part of me that's like, gosh, can we just get this over with and then everything will calm down? Do you remember the last time we said that?
Which
the election.
I beg your pardon, but it doesn't seem like, oh, we've stuck our head in the sand concerning a lot of this stuff. But it's more just like everybody's kind of, I don't know, no matter which side you're on, I'm just kind of a little tired of it not happening yet. And so tomorrow, is it virtual or is it?
Well, that's the thing that's wild.
Are people going? Because I don't think we're supposed to be going, but I wasn't sure.
They filled the National Mall with 200,000 American flags to represent the people that would normally attend the inauguration. But
I know, I'm sure people will still be around, but you know, we don't want to forget we're not really supposed to be doing that. So
I want somebody. You remember the lady that when Trump got elected, she was like, no, no. She was like wailing in the street. Can we get like the conservative version of that? Can somebody but you can't shoot it in D.C. now, but like, I don't know if it's in your backyard or what, but could you do like the screaming and rocking back and forth?
I'm sure there'll be plenty, and there has been plenty for both sides again.
But I mean, it hasn't been video that stuck out to me like that did.
You haven't noticed one?
No, I haven't seen one yet. So if anybody, the only thing is though, now that it's going to be staged, that woman was having a genuine moment.
You feel like you can't duplicate that?
I mean, whatever you say about her, I feel like a lot of us sometimes have trouble being honest about how we feel. And like, I really felt like she communicated with me. Like she got across to me where she was emotionally in that moment.
I see.
So,
Well, that's tomorrow. But yeah, most of it will be then, virtual.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Probably not going to be paying too
much attention.
It's like everything else. Like the inauguration is going to happen. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to catch the 90-second highlight reel.
Following time.
Yeah.
That is what's common for a lot of people, which feels bad because you want to tell everybody who puts in all these efforts to all these big, like even going back to the Super Bowl, like all these big events and stuff. And you're like, well, you could have just cut the time.
I don't know. One time,
unless they're selling ad space.
One time when I was a kid, I stayed home and I was legitimately sick, but I spent the whole day watching the inauguration.
You did?
And I loved it.
Really?
I thought it was amazing. Aww. It was so much fun to watch. And, it was not a candidate that I probably would have voted for, but it was still so cool to see the pomp, the circumstance, like all those things that are involved in it. That was cool. But the problem is now I'd rather just watch a movie.
Yeah, you don't want to. It feels like just like any same thing with award shows. Like we're just not wanting to.
I think it comes down to is just like the older I get, the dumber I am. I'm just like, when I was a kid, I was like, I would like to learn something about the election.
But you did.
I would like to see the inaugural process.
Do you feel like you learned and you're done? Like you just don't?
I feel like I learned and I'm dumb.
Or are we all just a little bit jaded with it?
I don't know. But you know what, Nikki? One of those flags out there on the National Mall, yeah, that's me.
Did you have to pay or is it just representing?
No. Just you guys pick one. That's me. I'm there in spirit tomorrow.
The Riot Podcast. Radio U.
So, Nikki, yesterday I picked up something for my Oculus Quest called Pistol Whip.
The game?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is cool. Like, it's one of those things where I didn't know this when I got it. So the idea is like, you're kind of like just moving forward. And I thought, oh, am I going to be sick? No, didn't get sick. And the idea is you're basically
motion sickness.
Yeah. You're basically John Wick.
Oh, really?
So,
just shooting at everything?
It's just like guys are jumping out and shooting at you, and their bullets move slow enough that you can step out of the way, and then you're shooting at them as you're moving through. Plus, like, obstacles will get in front of you, so you have to duck or you have to move left or right. And I was like, it wore me out. I was pistol whipped when it was over.
You mean it was the workout?
It was.
Which is true. I mean, it can be that way.
It was absolutely a workout. I had no idea what I was in for. And it's a rhythm game. And so when it's playing, like it's playing music while you're doing it. And if you're shooting your gun on the beat, you're getting extra points for making sure that you're doing stuff like that on beat.
It looks cool. The art looks really neat.
Oh my gosh, dude. It was wild. Like, that game is wild.
So it's kind of like back when virtual reality kind of came out with the Oculus, the original one.
Yeah.
Like Beat Saber used to be the hotness.
It's still pretty popular.
It's
still like, if you go and look on the Quest, like what are their top selling things?
Yeah.
It's always at the top.
But it tends to be rhythm driven games.
Yeah.
So at least this, you got guns and rhythm.
You know what? It's fun. There's something about it that I think the moving of your body to some kind of a beat. But I had no idea just how many games like this there were.
Sure.
So there's Beat Saber, which is like having a lightsaber, and there's music and blocks, and you have to chop these blocks. But there are like so many games that are just like that.
Yeah.
I looked at one. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I think it's called Oasis. No, or something like that. But it's a subscription service. And so what you do is like the app is free, and so is your first hit. And then after that, you pay, I don't even know how much money, and you subscribe to it. And then like there are certain trainers and songs and like all this different stuff that you can do inside it. My only problem is like, okay, no matter how much I go to the gym or whatever, I still sweat like I've never moved my body before.
That's just a thing you do.
It's just a thing.
Even though you're fit.
Excessive sweating has always been a thing. And so like I don't know if I'm going to have to buy different iPads, meaning not an iPad, but like some sort of a cover to keep some of the sweat out of my Oculus.
Face. Oh, that could be real. You don't want to damage that.
It's totally a thing.
We should put like a little sweatband around it.
Something.
Yeah, I bet there's a hack for that.
I'm sure there is. I just know that yesterday it was just like, I have sweat a lot.
I need to wipe this down.
There's like an eyepiece and so I took that off so that I wanted to make sure that it dried out.
Sure.
But it was something.
So the game is Pistol Whip 2089.
Yeah, 2089 is like the free expansion they did that comes packaged with it.
I like how if you envision if we ever do get to a world like this in the future where we have to be the ones fighting, we're going to need to like ask for music or a rhythm.
Yeah.
So we know how to fight and keep it on time.
Sarge, can I bring my iPod with me?
I really fight better when there's music. Okay, let's pick the beat.
What if hey, look, what do you think if Johnson, he just carries this Bluetooth speaker with us the whole time? Is that going to be a problem, Sarge?
That's how I trained. And you just, have that sort of EDM sort of style music with every fight that you get into.
Son, stop shooting on the beat. We're not keeping score.
You're like, yes, we are.
I am.
Totally see that how that is in the future.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
So the vaccine for COVID, right? You have to it's a twofer.
Yeah, it's an open and a close, and technically it doesn't work until the second one.
Right. But they got a little problem in Florida, Nikki.
What's the problem?
40,000 people have not shown up for their second dose.
Oh, 40,000. And remember, you have to have both of them, guys. The first and the second.
So
is that a scheduling thing or just like people forget? Because I know a few who think, I got the first one. That's all I need to do. And I don't know how aware they were of the second one.
So the big thing that's quoted in this particular article, and this is from WFLA in Florida, they say, this is from, what do you call it, one of the county medical directors. He says, I heard there are seniors backing out of getting the second shot because they heard the side effects are worse with the second shot.
One. Yeah, so, that is a thing.
I mean, that's kind of the...
But don't waste the first one. If you were willing to, then don't waste it and just get the closer.
Well, that's the thing is, like, your first shot is now worthless.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I assume that it basically just goes away or something. I don't know. But you're not getting the second one. So what do you might as well, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there are talks that if you do get any side effects, the second one is when you get them.
Okay. Well, I mean,
so they're just probably nervous. That seems more like they need a little bit more education during the first time when you go in, talk them through it. You know, I know these are going to be older people, but you know, be a little kind and softer and just say, hey, second one, come in and make sure they're aware that they need it to close it up and finish and actually have the protection from it.
He says, and I quote, that the side effects of the booster shot, which is what the second shot is, can be handled with some rest and Tylenol.
Yeah, people say a lot of it, you feel really bad for a day or two, and that's it.
Hey, I will tell you, and again, I'm not here to necessarily recommend a medical course of action, but if you actually get COVID, if you have it like I did, you're going to feel bad for more than a day or two.
Way more. way more.
I've had so many wonderful opportunities to feel bad and unpredictably so. And that's after the virus. Let's get started on when the initial 2-week run.
So can I still ask one question about the vaccine that I feel like no one has told me anything about?
No questions. Do what you're told.
I just have a question. How often are you supposed to take it? Like, how long does it last?
They don't know.
They don't know, or they're just not, no one's saying? Is it 3 months? Like if you get COVID and it's antibodies, or is it longer than that, or no one says that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Why can't anybody say that? Like, how many times do you have to go get these shots?
Hey, as someone that has been on the inside of the COVID treatment loop.
Yeah. No one's saying anything.
There's just so much they just don't know. Like, they just don't know. Like, hey, my doctor was sure I didn't have COVID again, quote unquote, which he was right. I didn't show up in a COVID test, but I had every single symptom. Well, every symptom, no, but lots of symptoms of it yet last week. You know.
I think it also, everybody's body is different, so it all reacts differently. But I would like, if anybody ever finds out and they say, how often are you supposed to be getting these 2 shots? I'm just curious.
I will tell you, I think until you really have to go to a doctor for something, you just assume that medicine is like math, where you're like 2 + 2 always equals 4, and that's all there is. But like when I have gone, I take Prozac for depression and anxiety and whatever, and they go and they're like, we'll try this. And you're like,
why are we trying?
Excuse me for just a minute. What do you mean by trying?
Don't you know?
They're like, well, if this doesn't work, we'll try something else. Hang on.
But again, everybody's different. Everybody's body is different.
Right.
So in Florida, they want to make sure people who got the first shot know to go back to get the second one. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, I think it's a heads up all across the nation. Like if you're not planning on getting the second shot, the first shot is kind of worthless. So, something to think about.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I find my job as a member of the media is to state the obvious. And then when someone else is stating the obvious, I need to come and tell you that someone is stating the obvious.
So do you have an example of this?
Nikki, behold, someone stating the obvious.
What?
They don't think that the Tokyo Olympics are going to happen this year.
Now, they said, because they canceled the Olympics last summer in Tokyo.
Postponed.
Well, they were really adamant, saying that no matter what was still going on, COVID or not, that they were having the Olympics in Tokyo this summer. So they just kept saying it wasn't canceling. It wasn't, we'll wait and see. It was we're just going to postpone this one time. Now, Tokyo still has a problem, too, with the different versions of COVID that have been appearing there. So it's not like they're having any better time with COVID control than any other country. Everybody's still having a difficult time. They're not going to want to let tourism in, though.
Okay. Now, Nikki, I want to take you back a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Where I was like, yeah, I don't care what happens. I'm coming in on Monday. No matter what happens, I'll be there. Don't worry about it.
Sure.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Okay. Like Tuesday is for sure.
Obi last week he worked from home the whole week.
Yeah. And so
it's better never to say.
Them, the more adamantly they're like, nah, I'm doing it. We're doing it. Are you?
Is when it's more likely that it gets, well, what are they going to do? Put it for the following, or just at that point, do you just cancel that time? The Olympics are so set and so far ahead. And I mean, they built all these places for it. So they built all this stuff.
I don't know.
And I'm sure Tokyo's like, Japan's better, but you remember all the other places for the Olympics where they would build the stadiums and like they're crumbling a year later?
I mean, you knew it didn't have to last.
I know they don't build it to last because they don't have anything to do with them after. I don't know. I really don't know if they'll do the Olympics this summer. Right now, I would say no, based on it currently.
This is, I think the term is scuttlebutt. That is escaping from the Olympic Committee that people are saying no. They are making plans to cancel.
Now, they could, if they brought in the bubble, just like the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
NFL wasn't quite a bubble, but more controlled with testing and stuff. If they brought in all the athletes ahead of time, had them stay there for a while, didn't let anybody else in, you couldn't have anybody there watching, but they still put it on. That's a possibility, but they are losing a lot of money because they count on, again, people coming to the Olympic area to see all of it. They want that tourism. So is it worth it for them to wait more time?
I don't know. I don't know. Because kind of what you said right there, the tourism's not going to happen if they have to do the bubble thing. So it would just be like families of the athletes or something.
Maybe not even that.
Maybe not. Just the teams.
But we're a long time in this. Point, so I'm not sure if they'll comes to a point where like, well, that's all they can do unless they have to keep waiting too long.
I don't know what they'll end up doing, but I'll tell you this: it's out there, and as I said, as a member of the media, it's our jobs to help state the obvious.
They're just not sure if the Summer Olympics will happen again.
We really don't know.
This was the worst of the riots, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
It's a different colored poof, and that's the best we can do.